Inmarsat is introducing satellite broadband across the whole of Australia. That's after launching its third Inmarsat 4 satellite. Inmarsat's mobile services have been available in Western Australia for several decades, but now central and eastern states have also been linked in. Well, joining us in the studio to explain more about the service are Inmarsat President Michael Butler and Todd McDonald from TC Communications. Well, thanks so much for joining us in the studio this afternoon. Mobile broadband across all of Australia. What will that mean to, say, me or to even businesses?
Well, the service is effectively aimed at business, government, corporate users, those that have a real requirement for higher speed data and voice services, either on the move, as in the case of the maritime community, or with the aeronautical users. But with people that need to have access to broadband, moving about Australia, then it'll certainly be an extension of the services that we've provided up until now.
Now, what services were you providing up until now? How is this an extension of what, say, people in Western Australia would have already been receiving? Well,
effectively, the customer now will be benefiting from much higher data rates to much smaller terminals, a terminal maybe this size that will allow them to access broadband speeds, whether they be an oil worker, a construction worker, a media user. Effectively, it's a broadband mobile office, and it's now available across all of Australia, indeed across the whole of the Pacific, which was a gap for us previously. Okay, so the receiver would have to buy that unit that we have right here? That's right, and typically they'd buy that from a local partner, somebody that knows the requirements of the Australian business community, such as TC Communications. So you're actually using this technology right now. How does it compare in terms of speed or in terms of usage to, say, wired broadband?
Okay, well, the technology is really designed to be a mobility device. It's not really compared against wired broadband, but it's certainly an extension of things like 3G. So we hear the cellular operators today talking about their 3G services, but there are still plenty of places in Australia and indeed around the world where you can't get coverage from those services. And this provides a satellite version of that technology, so you can literally go anywhere. You're not restricted by mobile phone towers, for example. How about price? How does it compare to... Well, certainly satellite technology in general is not the same price point that, say, the mobile services might be, but in fact when you talk about things like international roaming and so on, because the service is global, it's one flat price. So if you were to use, say, your 3G card in Indonesia or something, you'll pay much more significant charges for that global roaming than this sort of technology, which is one flat price across the world no matter where you go. So literally I could bring this with me as I travelled around the world. Would I have to pay any local sort of pricing or sign any agreements, or it's really just completely global? Completely global service. It's designed to work anywhere in the world, one flat price, get one bill, doesn't matter where you go. That really does open up a lot of well, it opens up the world, I guess, to small businesses even. That's right. And one of the other exciting opportunities is that this is available for people on the ground, but it's also available for ships and for aircraft. And recently, just last week in Europe, Ryanair, a low-cost carrier, went live with 20 aircraft with this kind of technology, which enables you or I to get on an aircraft, switch on our own mobile phone and use it whilst we're travelling in the air. And there's some similar trials going on in the Australian continent, and this technology will now enable that for those airlines that wish to offer that service to their travelling customers. So I understand that this is just being launched in Australia, I think, a couple of days ago. So what has the take-up been? What do you expect? And how about the NBN? How does this all tie in, or is this, do you see that as a competitor? Okay, well, the NBN certainly isn't a competitor, but it could be a great support mechanism for this type of technology. The NBN's really aimed at providing broadband connections, fixed broadband connections to homes and businesses. But once again, when they need these mobile connections, or they need to go fix that remote pump, things like tsunami warning systems, pipeline monitoring, radio relay systems, all of these technologies which need to be deployed very remotely, this is a very small piece of equipment that's easy to put out there and get access to all of those sensors and connections that are way out of range of any of the other technologies such as NBN. I guess a lot of users that have already enjoyed this technology over the last couple of years, doing business in Australia now, whether they're vessels, their aircraft, or they're people carrying out. Australia is now part of the footprint for this global capability, which so many businesses now rely on. Michael Butler, Todd McDonald, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Thank you.